The Business of Agriculture Masterclass is back, and this time it's all about you. We understand how talk can look easy but become daunting with practice, and that is exactly our focus for this year. Agric in Practice. 3 days, 9 sessions, 20 plus speakers, 8 value chains. Join Agric experts from September 27th to 29th, 2022, as they discuss the best practices for maximum results in your agric venture, answer critical questions about the specific challenges you face, and teach you how to tackle those challenges to achieve more profit for your business. What's more amazing? The masterclass is free and virtual, so you can join from wherever you are. All sessions will be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit www.businessofagriculture.org to register for the Business of Agriculture Masterclass today. This is brought to you by the Private Sector Advisory Group of the UN SDG Fund. The Business of Agriculture Masterclass is back, and this time it's all about you. We understand how talk can look easy but become daunting with practice, and that is exactly our focus for this year. Agric in Practice. 3 days, 9 sessions, 20 plus speakers, 8 value chains. Join Agric experts from September 27th to 29th, 2022, as they discuss the best practices for maximum results in your agric venture, answer critical questions about the specific challenges you face, and teach you how to tackle those challenges to achieve more profit for your business. What's more amazing? The masterclass is free and virtual, so you can join from wherever you are. All sessions will be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit www.businessofagriculture.org to register for the Business of Agriculture Masterclass today. This is brought to you by the Private Sector Advisory Group of the UN SDG Fund.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first value chain session of the Business of Agriculture Masterclass 2.0, where we will be discussing the practice of nutrition and lifestyle management. My name is Dr. Godwin Atse, and I will be your moderator for this session. The global market for organic foods and other products have grown to $227.2 billion in 2021 and is forecast to climb further to $437.4 billion by 2026. With the sector thriving globally, it's not encouraging that Nigeria is still dependent on agrochemicals for food production. The unrestrained use of these chemicals contributes to deformity in infants and compromises the integrity of food quality and foodstuff, as foodstuff now suffers a reduced shelf life. Nigeria also relies on imports to meet its organic produce need. The market is ripe for more Nigerian agric entrepreneurs to pitch their tents and add their quota to the global success of the organic farming niche and the nutrition and lifestyle management value chain in general. In this session, I will be joined by nutrition and lifestyle experts, and together we will dig deep into their wealth of experience and provide you with detailed context on best strategies to employ and how to overcome the challenges faced in the nutrition and lifestyle value chain. We will go on a short break now, And when we're back, we'll go deeper into nutrition and lifestyle management value chain in Nigeria. Welcome back. Before we go to the panel discussion, I will give an overview of the practice of nutrition and lifestyle. To help you better appreciate the nutrition sector, I'll be talking to a panel of experts, and we will take a deeper dive into the best strategies to employ and how to overcome the challenges faced in the nutrition and lifestyle value chain. Value chain. Our first panelist is Dr. Michael Kayode. He's the founder and chief executive officer of Eat Right Nigeria. I think with Nigeria, what gave birth to Eat Right Nigeria? His unquenchable thirst for wellness has seen him speak different audiences, both far and near, about health. Food doctor, as he's popularly called. Known is an outstanding member of the Nutrition Society of Nigeria and the Institute of Dietetics in Nigeria. Dr. Michael, you are welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm pleased to be here.
Thank you so much. Our next panelist is Ms. Olushola Sowemimo, the founder of Okpe Farms. She's a lawyer, a human resource expert, public speaker, ethical coach, and organic farmer. She started Okpe Farms with the bright idea that consumers will nourish bodies. Okpe Farms supports sustainable goals 2, 3, and 12. You are welcome, Ms. Sowemimo. Let's bring her on the panel. Ms. Sowemimo, are you there? Perhaps maybe she's trying to fix her system, her settings. But the final panelist this morning is Ms. Oluwadara Adekunle. She's an entrepreneur and a development professional. Her main technical focus is on agribusiness, renewable energy, and business development. For more than 5 years, she has actively engaged agricultural stakeholders to create access to market, technologies, and a free flow of finance and investment in the agricultural value chain. Ms. Oluwadara, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, nutrition and lifestyle management. Going forward, I'll be asking you specific questions on best practices in nutrition and lifestyle management, to give the audience useful insights into the value chain. So I will maybe throw this question to Michael. Why is nutrition important?
Yeah, thank you very much. Nutrition is so important in our day-to-day life right now. After the air that we breathe, I always say that the food that we eat comes second. And not only the food, of course, what we drink as well is also as important as what we eat. Nutrition is a very broad science that encompasses how we as individuals, we as humans eat and how we utilize the food that we eat. All right, we must have the sufficient, accurate amount of nutrients. We have over 40 nutrients, which are of course categorized into about seven categories. You know, you have the carbohydrate, protein, fat and oil, water, fiber, um, minerals, of course, vitamins. So we must have adequate amount of all these nutrients. And when I mean adequate, I mean we must not have too much of it and we must not have too little of it. And the situation whereby we have too much of it, that means we're overnourished. And that is the cases of obesity and some other conditions that might arise from overnutrition. But in cases whereby we have a limited amount of this nutrient, it's called undernutrition. So basically, as individuals, as a group of individuals, we must have the right amount of nutrients. And when you look at the business of nutrition in today's society, it's becoming more acceptable, it's increasing because a lot of people are becoming aware of what they should eat. And this is fueled by the negative impact of information they've gotten in the past regarding what they should eat. So the negative impact is already telling on the population with increasing in numbers of people now living with diabetes, people living with hypertension, people that are obese. So it's now giving the business of nutrition a cutting edge in the society. And as good as this may sound, this increasing popularity in the business of nutrition is also a challenge for nutrition as it is. All right. But nutrition right now is something each household, each individual is trying to look at in the society.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me go to Dara. Dara, could you share with us why is nutrition becoming important at this time?
Thank you for the question. Nutrition is actually very important, and it's something that um, ties very closely, obviously, to the food value chain, which is the agricultural value chain at the moment. And most times, when you look at nutrition, a lot of people forget that nutrition starts from the farm, starts from the farm to the market. And it's very important because we also need to drive the consciousness on the food nutrients from good farm practices right from the smallholder farmers to the market. So beyond just the table where everyone is conscious about getting the right nutrients, not staying obese and being healthy, the value chain being aware of the need for good nutrients in the body would change the mindset and change the processes around food handling, around food processing, around packaging, and also around markets and even restaurants, tables, and all of that. So it's very important that this discussion is ongoing, especially in this kind of agribusiness related program, because most of the time you find out that there is a disconnect between food and nutrition. So if we keep advocating, if we keep speaking about the need for nutrition from food produced from the farm to the market and looking at the whole entire value chain, we'll be more conscious around producing food that nourishes everyone, everywhere, and all the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dara, for that. I will go to Ms. Showe Nimo. And I'd like to ask you, ma, how is this problem of nutrition? Why is this becoming a topical issue for discussion, especially these days?
Thank you very much. Miss Adekunle actually hit the nail on the head when she said, our food starts from the farm. Everybody talks about nutrition because we feel that we can balance our diets and all of that. But the problem we have right now is that probably about 90% of the food we're eating do not have nutrients. If anything, most of these foods go through series of chemicals. First, you start with the herbicide to kill the weed there. Then you move on to the insecticide, which are used to chase away the pests. And then even for harvesting, there are chemicals that are also applied. So at the end of the day, if you would not drink glyphosate, why would you eat it in your food? So many a time, we are beginning to eat foodless food because by the time these foods arrive on many tables, they actually lack the necessary nutrients. Unfortunately, we are also in a society where we have not attached the right value to organic food. We still think it's a fad. People will say things like, oh, it can't feed the world. We need to have a change of mindset. We are even overeating and food is wasting on farms. So I'm always worried when people tell me things like it can't feed. Feed who? Maybe we need to change the way we're eating. Because if what we're eating is making us sick, then we do have a problem. And this is where we need to hammer for more knowledge in organic agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that contribution. And I would like to go back to Michael. And Michael, can you share your thoughts in terms of the awareness? Are people really aware of the options? Or are people really aware of what they eat now? I mean, you have been in this space. Are people aware? Are they conscious of what they eat at all?
Yeah, thank you very much. When it comes to the matter of awareness, it's a double-sided sword, kind of. I would say that people are becoming increasingly aware of what they should eat. But the percentage of awareness is still not where it should be. Now, when you ask an average person about, oh, you're eating this particular food, are you sure it's healthy? They know that what they are eating is not healthy. All right? Now, when it comes to what are they going to eat to make them healthy, I think we are limited in that space. So, generally, I would say about, let's say 45% of Nigerians already are aware of what they should eat, but about 65% of Nigerians are still not aware of what they should eat. Now, I said something. I said the business of nutrition is becoming rampant. It's coming up, especially in Nigeria, developing countries. All right. Now, we're expecting more professionals in this space as well. Now, as we are expecting more qualified professionals in this space, we must understand that there are also the challenges of quackery. There are challenges of incompetent hands that are trying to hijack the information that they are passing across to people. And that is a major challenge when it comes to the business of nutrition and lifestyle management in Nigeria. Quackery, information dissemination. The quacks, to an extent, they are even broader, they are larger than even the people with the right information. Or should I rather say, the people with the right information are not really feeding the population enough with information, with the right information. So awareness has to continue, and that is one of the things we're doing here today. We have to continually inform people on the right choices of food they have to make. Let me shock you. You'll be amazed that the budget of Nigeria when it comes to healthcare is nothing compared to the budget of food companies that are packaging junk for the population. When you go everywhere, you see advertisements that are capturing by this company. How many capturing advertisements have people in the right space, in the right nutrition space are doing? And it's not like they cannot do it. Of course, that would bring me to the issue of the financial incapability of many of the right-minded people about nutrition. You cannot compare the budget of Coca-Cola, for example, or any of the fizzy drink companies to what Eat Right Nigeria or Okpe Farms we have to put out there. Do you understand? So awareness is coming up. We're trying to counter the negative information the best way we can with the right tools that we have, and but we're getting there. Let me just put it like that. We're getting there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that. Let us look at, anywhere you have a problem, then for an investor, if you're a businessman or a businesswoman, that is a kind of an opportunity for you to take advantage of. And now we have talked about the organic sector having a lot of opportunities, and it's even growing. Can you share with us the opportunities that are in the organic space that young people, women can actually take advantage? Maybe I will start with Dara for a start. What are the opportunities that young people, young women, or women generally can take from this organic space?
Okay, thank you for that question. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you for that question. I hope you can hear me. And there's actually lots of opportunities for investments into the organic space. And just like it's been mentioned, there needs to be a conscious effort of a lot of agripreneurs in the value chain to incorporate organic practices into their operations. It will shock you to know that there are available funds, organic development funds for organic farmers. But now the challenge is they are operating in other countries, but not in Nigeria. So you ask, why not Nigeria? And it's because the rate of adoption to the right practices right from the farm is not adhered to. People don't, and farmers, entrepreneurs don't have the right certification to allow them compete globally with the products on their farm. And this is the reason why most of the time investors who even have funds for organic investments don't even look to Nigeria. So I would say, even though there might not be so many organic farmers in Nigeria, I think there needs to be a lot of work around sensitization, around increasing capacity, around just building the network of organic farmers so that we can get the right funding. And it goes through the value chain. Once there is a business case for organic farming, then you realize that just like Michael was saying, there will be a lot of investment going into that sector, even to the point whereby it can beat the likes of the market that already sells foods that are not healthy. Let me put it that way. So I would say, while there is an opportunity, Nigeria is missing in the gap of taking investment opportunities that are centered around organic investment. The time is now to build capacity, to get the right certification, to adhere according to international best practices. It's just because we don't have a very strong regulatory system in checking the kind of foods that are produced or the kind of foods that are practiced or that are packaged. That's why it seems like anything can go. And it now seems that the organic market has a very small niche and maybe just exports. So I would say there are lots of Nigerians that want to eat organic products. But the rate at which there are different types of sickness, health problems, people are now beginning to think about eating right for their health. So it's an opportunity for people to go into farming with the right practice, get the right certification, keep your books, have proper records, and be positioned to attract the kind of financing you need on your farm and in your business.
Thank you so much for that. I'm also hearing that there are even grants that are out there for people to actually to actually access, which is something that is new. And I'm sure that the audience is listening to some of these opportunities that are out there. Let me go to Mrs. Showemimo. And my question to you, Mike, is if I want to go into organic farming, which of the crops should I focus on? And does this include livestock also?
Yes, thank you. I liked it when Mr. Kayode said that we do not have enough publicity for people like us at this end of the spectrum. And I will quickly address something that Ms. Adekunle said. You know, just because advocacy is where many of us are playing, there is no big advert and a big push for what organic stands for in Nigeria. You will be surprised to know that IFOAM is the global body for organic in the whole world. And there is actually an association in Nigeria that is recognized by IFOAM. And that association is the Association of Organic Agricultural Practitioners of Nigeria. It's an NGO. So there is a limit to what it can do. And we are glad that at least as small as that body is, quite a number of things are beginning to happen. Just last week, Friday, there was a session whereby we're beginning to discuss the kind of certification that farmers who grow organically and follow the standard would be able to use. So when you see those logos, you will know that truly this is a certified organic food from Nigeria. Now, I'll move on to your question about the kind of food that we should be looking at. For us at Okpe Farms, what we do is that what we grow, we actually supply people in their homes, because there is no point going to sell in the local market. People will not know that what they're buying is different from every other thing, you know. But because we have quite a number of people who, for health reasons, want to eat those foods, we realize that more of the salad things are what we want. So, of cucumber, carrot, lettuce, kale, those are all the things we grow. And then, of course, you cannot rule out fruits. Fruits. Any fruit that is grown organically is best for the body. So if anybody wants to go into the value chain, You can either pick the fruits, you can pick the vegetables. Honestly, it's amazing. In fact, there's hardly any crop that you don't want to eat organically. Even Gary, there are farmers who are planting cassava without chemicals and making Gary that is different from what you will get in the market. So I would say that the options are limitless. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think maybe you have to give us a bit of clarity on how we can um, promote this space much more. Because I'm looking at, yes, you have a business model that you are delivering at the doorsteps of the farmers. But how do we address the challenge of people recognizing organic foods versus foods that are not organic? Maybe I can go to Dara to speak on that, and then we come back to you, man. Dara, please.
Well, it's quite interesting. I'm not a practicing organic farmer. So I think Ms. Chorowemimo will be in the best place. But then I think most of the time you could see from the way the food looks. It's obvious. From the way the food looks, it's obvious. And most of the time, organic producers are kind enough to state that the products are organic and even with the right specifications and nutrient information. So that's a way it's very obvious. While an organic tomato is looking more attractive, more solid, inorganic ones are looking like they're just ready to die. So you can see it from the looks, and I'm sure Miss Olushola will be able to add to that.
Okay, Michael, before we come back to Mrs. Chorowemimo,
Yeah.
how do we get this distinction right?
See, when it comes to distinction about organic and inorganic, it's very, very, very how will I put it? It's something that is very, very difficult to differentiate. Except Mr. Chorowemimo said something about how the body that is regulating the organic farming in Nigeria is trying to bring about some policies or perhaps a logo that is going to differentiate this product. And that is what is involved in even other developed countries, whereby you have stickers on organic products and the like. But what I always had to that is that when it comes to organic produce, they are more expensive. Let's be clear about that. Organic produce are more expensive than the conventional or the genetically modified produce out there. And to actually inform the general population about which one is organic, which one is inorganic, then that still boils down to that we are practicing the nutrition and dietetics properly. There is no, Mrs. Chorowemimo might have her produce and take it to an office because, like she rightfully said, taking that kind of produce to the general market will be catastrophic. People will just look at it and you tell them that this tomato, they are organic, and a basket goes for times 2 or maybe even times 3 of the normal one they are going to buy. And they are going to tell you, you know what, I'm not interested. What's the difference? That is the next thing they are going to say. What's the difference? And that also is a challenge for us that is practicing in the nutrition space. Now, cost of produce is something that there's a challenge to us. There are some of our clients that economically, they cannot afford to eat organically. Because when you dipping hand into the pocket and it's taking the chunk of the family revenue and you want to use it to feed only one particular sick person, they are going to turn away and say, oh, you know what, I think I'd rather go for this one and live, for a bit longer time than for all my money to just get finished by buying just few organic products. Right? It's a challenge, but there are some few people that, of course, if they're in good standing financially, are able to afford the organic produce. All right, it's a challenge. Okay, so like I'm saying, we are the ones that are going to inform the public about the importance of organic products, and when it's compared to the inorganic product. And to do this, like I said before, we need more hands in the nutrition space. Of course, more people are coming. Quackery is taking over, but there is no way you're going to take over the nutrition space of any country. There's no way you're going to be relevant in the nutrition space without information. That is what people are going to buy first. So there must be constant information about organic farming every day, every now and then. People must be informed about organic. And that brings to my mind the issue of branding, for example. For example, a company that's into an organic farming should add organic even to the name of the farm, right? It's not just to say, oh, Coyote Farm. What is Coyote producing in his farm? Coyote is producing organic products, so it should be Coyote Organic Farm. All right. So branding, the name of the company, the branding and all of that, the social media awareness program, hard sponsorship, a lot of technology. We have to take advantage of technology to really push this information. And this information must be clear, it must be concise, and it must be compelling. All right. If information does not do these three things, then there's no way we are going to achieve the purpose of making people see the importance of organic products for their health. All right. So we in the business of nutrition process, we are going to help to propagate the right message to our clients, and of course to every people that are out there that are still thinking about if they should go organic or not. And over to Mrs. Stewart more right now. I know she is going to have one or two things to add.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let's hear from her.
First of all, let me tell you that having organic attached to your farm name does not make you organic. There are very many farms in Nigeria with organic in their names. They do not practice it. And this is where traceability comes in. So my not taking my produce to the market is not even about ability to sell it. It's because it is those who want to eat organic by choice who would buy my produce. So I may as well carve my niche and be able to sell to them rather than take it to the market. So let me first of all debunk that. So eating organic is a choice, and it requires a shift in mindset. If you say eating organic is expensive, how about being in a cancer hospital and paying 750,000 naira for one session of chemotherapy? Which one would you choose? So it is easier to live healthy and avoid having to spend money in the hospitals. And that is where we need to be thinking in Nigeria. The same people who will tell you organic is expensive will probably buy a fine bag or shoe, and those will not be termed as expensive. So the minute a person makes up their mind to feed their body, it is because they do not want to spend huge hospital bills. And guess what? We're beginning to have farmers markets that sell organic food in quite a number of places. I know there's one in UI where organic farmers take their produce. We have one in Ikoyi, 17 McDonald, where if you come there on a Saturday, you will get organic food to buy. So for us, it is not even wanting to force people to eat organic. We need people to get to that point where they're making their comparison between being well and being sick. In Nigeria, it is very expensive to be sick. It is cheaper in the long run to eat well and eat healthy, because then you are nourishing your body. I don't remember when last I was in the hospital. I mean, it's not for just talking, because I watch what I eat. And that is where I want to start looking at. You can even grow some of the food you eat at home. For instance, I'm a farmer, I own a farm, but you'll be surprised the things that are grown right in my own home. There's some things I don't buy. Even if I didn't have a farm, I would not have to buy them. In those days, when we were growing up, almost every house had a little backyard garden where the mothers grew some vegetables or the other. So don't let's make a big deal out of this, you know? So it's very, very important. For instance, we raise our chickens without the use of synthetic and antibiotics and all of that. And guess what? Customers will tell you the taste is different. If I sell people my produce, I know a lady whose husband used to run his tummy from eating vegetables until she met us. The man was reacting to the chemicals that was being used to grow those vegetables. For the last 5 years that he's been eating our vegetables, he's not been sick. So it is time for all of us to do a strong assessment of where we want to be and how well we want to nourish our body. There are more things that are more expensive than organic food. It's only for us to look into our practices and make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this conversation and insights. Very, very insightful, I must say. The question to many people has always been, to what extent can organic practices feed Africa? If you look at the amount that we import between 2020 to 2021, it was estimated at 3 trillion. So how can organic practices really feed the growing population? Let me start with Michael.
All right. Thank you very much. Before I come to your question, let me actually say that now I'm looking at the management of patients or people in Nigeria on a broader perspective. Now, when it comes to eating, when it even comes to health, it's always a choice for you to be healthy or not healthy. Let me give you an example. When I was in school, you know, when your parents send you to school, sometimes when you come back and you tell them to do some certain thing, they look at you with some kind of corner eyes and be like, is this not you again? You know, when I was in school and I started to accumulate the knowledge about nutrition and how important it is for our health, my parents did not actually accepted it at first, just as it is with, or could be with any other person. Then along the line, my mom actually fell sick. Then I continued to tell her that there are some certain foods that she's already used to that she will have to stop. And she was still adamant, and she was like, okay, I don't think I can stop this. And I told her at a point, I said, you know what, Mom, this is your choice, but I will keep telling you the right information. And at that time, she was chronically obese. And I told her that you need to bring down your weight as well. And she said, really? But there's nothing bad with somebody being fat. I said, no. Things have to change. You know what? You're carrying an excess weight of over 50 kg on your bone. And that is going to tell on your joints. So you're having arthritis, you're having joint pains, you're complaining about them all the time. And you're carrying an excess weight of about over 50 kg. She still did not listen until a particular time. She bought all kinds of medicines. She bought supplements and all of that. Then it now occurred to her at the point that, okay, I think I need to start listening to what my son is saying. And she approached me and said, okay, what should I do? And that is the point where she accepted the gospel. So it's a choice, but we cannot stop educating people about it. And also, when you say something is a choice, there are some people in my practice that they are willing. They've actually accepted to eat organically. They've really accepted to go that way. But when you look at their financial ability, they cannot just afford it. So I know what I'm saying about this whole issue of the general management of the general population. I've managed millionaires. I've managed people that are living from hand to mouth. So, but let me leave that there. Now, coming to the issue of how well organic farming can really feed us as people in Nigeria. Say, I want to be on the same path with what Mrs. or Miss Showemi said earlier about when people start saying that, oh, they are bringing in more genetically modified produce because it wants to meet the needs of the people. We're now having expansion or rapid expansion in population. No. We can grow organically in Nigeria and it's going to meet our needs. Back then, just like she said as well, if I grow a particular product, let's say I grow cocoyam, for example, and my neighbor is growing vegetables. If I have excess cocoyam and my neighbor has excess vegetables, then definitely we can actually exchange and food is going to go around. It starts from that little. And she said something about backyard farming. We can start as little as that. I was in Benue State some time ago, and I realized that people in that state, they use all of their surroundings to grow crops, right? They don't even have to go to far farms, like faraway farms, before they eat. So they use their front yard, they use the backyard to farm. Even organic farming has grown to a level whereby you can use smaller pots, you can use, different containers around the house to grow your crops, right? And it is when you want to start going on a commercial scale that you now start worrying about, how you want to, do the full business of farming. It has not really gotten to that. We can start small. And she also mentioned something about starting with fruits and vegetables. See, we cannot take that away. If we're eating only fruit and vegetables that are organic, it is far, far better. In fact, it's a very good starting point to start with. All right. So we can actually feed the nation with organic farming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael, for those insights, even coming from personal experiences and sharing with us the potential. I'd like to find out from Showemi, how are consumers responding? Are they willing to pay a premium for organic foods in Nigeria? How is the market responding? You have been in the market. Share with us your experiences.
The experience has been a very interesting one. When I first started, I didn't even have knowledge. I had nothing. And at the time, I was just, groping in the dark, learning day by day and all of that. And I thought I was going to start small. But the demand grew. It grew beyond me. I had to keep clearing land, growing more, because every time there is somebody who wants something. So I can well imagine if, for instance, we are If we are 1 million organic farmers in Nigeria, people will eat and they will live well. So all this story about not being able to feed the world, I don't understand it. You know, every time I have more customers, I cannot meet my demand. And guess what? I can't grow everything. So customers will come up and say, oh, you don't grow this, you don't grow that. And I'm asking myself, how can I do it? For instance, in organic farming, we use more manual labor. So right now in Nigeria, the insecurity is so bad. Even farm workers are in short supply. But guess what? I also train people how to grow food at home. I've trained over 1,000 people how to grow food at home. Some of them have even become farmers because they've done so much at home. They're beginning to give neighbors, and they now see the sense in selling some of what they do. So it is possible. For us, the experience has been a wonderful one. Every day, I look forward to people who say, I want to start growing food organically. Even if you don't start on a commercial scale at which I am now, you can start small. There was a time people used to come from the universities to my farm to convince themselves that I am actually growing organically. And guess what? We've had BBC, we've had France 24 visit us to come and confirm. Because every time they tell people they want to go to the organic farm, the same people who told them they're organic farmers suddenly develop cold feet and cannot entertain visitors because they're not doing what they are pretending to be doing. So it is possible. The knowledge is now more available than ever before. Thank goodness I've also been able to go to conferences in Africa and other parts of the world where growing food organically is becoming a big deal. If you enter the stores in the UK right now, until the organic shelves are empty, people are not buying regular, especially their eggs. There was a day I went to buy eggs. Just one crate of 6 eggs was left in the naturally raised egg section, but all the other ones were still there. Egg is complete food. If you ate yesterday night, I had just 2 eggs for dinner and drank a cup of tea. So what are we talking about? Maybe we're even overeating. There is knowledge out there. There are opportunities, and honestly, Nigerians want to eat healthy. COVID taught everybody a big lesson. Nobody is joking anymore with what they are eating. So for those who feel they can't afford it, get a little pot, get some bags, and just plant some things. Even if it's one vegetable and a little something, then you are on to something. So I would say the experience has been a fantastic one. I have never looked back and felt I wish I was a conventional farmer. I've never practiced it, and I would never practice it. I have customers every day telling me how, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm this, and I'm wondering, because they say your food is medicine to the body. So I can only encourage more people to please join the train and grow food organically so Nigerians can be healthy. Our budget for health is nothing. And so you need to be well in Nigeria to live well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contributions, and it has been very insightful. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching and listening, just to let you know that this is a big opportunity for investment. The young people that are out there that are still thinking of what to do, please think organic, advantage of this opportunity, and see how you can create wealth and also create, contribute to the food system and make food available for Nigerians. And at this point, we will go on a short break. And when we come back, we will get some questions from the audience, and then we continue with the conversation. Okay, thank you so much. We are back, and from the technical team, can you share with us questions, if there are questions online for us to respond to before we continue with the conversation? Food, and can one be sure of the quality of the organic food as many people buy food from the local market? Can Ms. Showemimo, can you take this question? How do we source and buy organic food?
You know, like I mentioned earlier, we have an association of organic practitioners in Nigeria, and we're beginning to have chapters in quite a number of the states. Many of them are also have organic markets where what is grown organically are sold in those markets. But we can go further. There is nothing wrong with the average market creating a place for farmers who grow their food organically. So when you get to the market, you know that, oh, okay, this is where I want to buy my things. Let me quickly mention that there was a time we did cassava and made gari out of it. Do you know that when we got to the market, and that's the local market, because I couldn't understand having to pay so much to fuel, to pay transport to Lagos. So I decided, let's just sell this gari in the local market beside us. Do you know that we had to take a sample to the market mafiosos? I mean, sorry, those who, I don't know other name for them, but like the people behind the market. And when they tasted our gari, of their own accord, they allowed us to sell it at 1,000 naira more per bath than others. And guess what? Until we finished selling that gari that day, no other person sold their gari. The bidding was so much, we never went back to sell gari there. So if the local market, look at even the supermarkets all over the world, you will see supermarkets create a place for organic. In Nigeria, the big stores are telling us stories like, oh, it's going to cost them more to create a space. So we all need to work together, you know, hand in hand, supermarket association, market people association, or organic association of now. Everybody needs to come together as stakeholders to make a difference. If, for instance, the market association in Lagos know that, oh, it is possible to create a little place where people can come and meet farmers who grow organically. Do you know more people will grow organically? There are people who you meet them in the normal market and they'll be telling you the price of their product. When you say, oh, why is it that much more expensive? They say, madam, this is how I planted it. I didn't use this. I did that. So if we can just have that creation, then a lot of people will be able to buy organic food in the local markets. And it doesn't have to be as expensive. Honestly, I tell you, it doesn't have to. Nigeria just doesn't have what it takes to make sure that we organic farmers get the same opportunities that conventional farmers are getting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. The next question is from Muhammad Surajo Adamu. How can someone join the Association of Organic Farmers?
I am hoping that maybe the PRO or one of us is online and can write the phone number, because you know, I had to switch from my laptop to my phone, so I'm unable to get a number for that person. But if that person can probably contact the organizers, then we can share the details. I don't know the number offhand, but I'm praying and hoping that one of us is on this call and can write out a number, because we want to be all over Nigeria. And currently we are in quite a number of states. I was in Edo State last month and people already got together to start a chapter there, right there and there. They were willing, because quite a number of them were growing organically and wanted to be known to be different from the regular market. So I'm hoping somebody will put the number there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that young people out there willing to take advantage of this and go into organic farming. Now, Olatunji Oyeboade is asking, what about organic livestock? Can we produce organic livestock? What has been the experience? Because sometimes it's more like organic is about crops, but he's asking, what about livestock?
Yes, I did mention earlier that we also raise our livestock, but currently what we say is that we raise them naturally because we're giving them vegetables, we're giving them turmeric and all of that. But we would boldly say we're raising them as organic when we meet the standard. People don't know there are actually standards for organic agriculture. You can't just say, oh, because you're not using chemical and because you're organic. No, there are standards to be pursued. There are even principles for organic. You know, we do livestock, but we raise them naturally for now because the standard require that 60% of the feed and the inputs must be organic. And in Nigeria, currently, we do not have any feed mill that is producing organic feed, which is where there is another massive opportunity. Because all those who are now raising birds naturally will definitely patronize anybody who can raise the feed naturally. We tried it, but it was quite a lot of drain on us because we're now producing the maize that we will feed. But guess what? It would have been easier if we could buy it off somebody. So yes, you can learn about how to raise your livestock organically, and the meat is different. The taste is different. You can't even compare. So please see if the association has their number there, and then we can connect you in your state to those who can train you. And there are people who train every day anyway on how to raise livestock organically. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it would be nice, Marv, for you to throw more light on this, because the thinking is that if you are growing crops and not putting, applying herbicides or fertilizers, that is organic. Is it more to read than this? Can you shed more light on this?
Yes, there is more to it than not using chemicals and all. First of all, let me start by saying that IFWAM resides on 4 principles. There are 4 principles that you must adopt if you truly claim to be organic. So the principles are the principle of caring. Do you care for your consumers, even your ecosystem, your soil, even your workers? Do you care enough about them? If you care about your consumers, you will not be feeding them poison. So that is one. There is the principle of health, the health of the soil. For us organic farmers, the one thing I treasure most is my soil. It's everything. And that is why we will do anything to feed that soil. I tell people, if I grow ewedu and other people grow ewedu, it's not the same nutrient, because I go the extra mile to feed my soil to ensure that what people are going to eat is better. So there is the principle of health, even health of the workers. Your workers, are they happy? Are they well? We, for instance, had to register all our farm workers at a clinic, and that alone makes them feel very good. You don't, once you are ill, you are not on the field, you're not on the farm. You go and get well. Those are all the little things that matter to us. And then we're talking of the ecology of the whole system. For instance, we raise bees. We have an apiary, and that is simply because the bees are always there. You don't even need to go and look for them. They buzz around. The day we harvest tomatoes, you see bees like as if, wow. When I was going to start the apiary, it was me finding a place for the bees to stay rather than to be stinging us. So that is because the ecosystem is right. And then there's the principle of fairness. Is it fair? For instance, we don't cage our birds because it is not fair. We all know that birds can fly. If you chase a chicken now, it will just fly up like that. But what do? We put them in cages so that they can lay eggs for us until they stop laying, and then we sell them off. So we are not being fair. Fairness to the people who are eating our food. So when people say, oh, this food is organic, and it is not, they're actually committing food fraud. Because the person who buys it thinking it is organic thinks, oh, I'm feeding my body. A lady told us how for 5 years she was buying something from a farmer and didn't know that the farmer was not organic. You know, and didn't just see the difference in what she was buying. You know, all those things, that is where fairness comes in. So those 4 principles are what guide a truly organic farmer. Not to talk of the standards. For instance, your farm next to your neighbor's farm and you, there has to be a buffer zone of about 30 to 40 meters. Because if that person is using chemicals and there's rainfall, of course, the water will leach onto your own farm. But if you have up to 30 to 40 meters between you and them, at least before it gets to you, it probably will have gone in. But guess what? Because these chemicals are being used everywhere, we are all still suffering for it. And that is why even our wells are not safe. Because these waters are going to leach into those wells, and then people fall sick. So the principles are very, as their standard, those 4 are standard. And then we have this many standards which people need to observe before they can truly say they are organic. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful explanation. I see that if someone wants to go into the organic space, contribute to the lifestyle of Nigerians, then the issue of training is quite critical. You can't just jump into it. And we are glad to have Ms. Chowemimo here. So please try as much as possible to get in touch with the organizers and see how you stay in touch with her. Let's talk about the opportunities. Okay, I can see a question here, but maybe I can ask this question and the one that I also have, and it's about the issue of labor. How is Mrs. Chowemimo handling the issue of labor? You shed some light on that.
You mean my workforce?
Yes, your workforce.
My workers.
Yes.
Well,
how?
Let me say that I maybe being truly organic has really helped, because I have workers who have been with us for quite a long time, and through them they bring others. People usually don't like to go to where they don't know, or once they work with somebody and they feel that they were not happy there, then the wanting to go back there is never as easy. I'm not saying it's 100% for us, but honestly, we have every cause to be grateful for what we get. So the kind of workers we have, they continue to come back. And where they can't come back, they send us, either a brother or a cousin. And honestly, I think it's just because they feel they're appreciated, So for instance, I remember there's a meeting we always have. It's a no-level meeting. Everybody shares their views and all. It makes them feel important. They feel that they too are contributing to the progress of the farm. Sometimes they're holding a meeting and somebody is saying, Ma, I want to find out, why are we not growing cassava? Cassava is good, though. And we say, okay, yes, we have a schedule. And at so time, we're going to plant that cassava. So I think it's just a bit of curating the people you get, so that at the end of the day, they can get you more hands. But honestly, it's not that it's that easy, but we just thank the Lord for his grace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think I will be coming for some coaching classes too. And I love the principle, sincerely.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's go to Dara. Can you speak more on agribusiness of organic? I know that is your space. Can you share with the audience what are the agribusiness opportunities that our listeners can actually take home and begin to improve their lives?
Okay, great. Thank you for the question. So the agribusiness opportunities, I'll say, is just what is typical on the entire value chain for agriculture, from production to processing to packaging to exports, and also to further processing, like having a restaurant or a feed farm outfit where you produce like quality food. And in that chain, and just like when Ms. Olushola and Michael was speaking, it's the question around scaling the activities of organic producers or people already in the organic space. And how do we have so many more of our farms? How do we convert the so many millions of Nigerian farmers to organic farmers? The opportunities are there, and it's just about uh, identifying the chain and working in it. For me, I'm pro investment into organic, especially the fact that I see that the organic segment of the agricultural value chain seems to be missing out in a lot of conversation around driving investment to the agricultural sector. Why can't there be an anchor borrower program for the organic farmers? So I feel that with associations like the one Ms. Ope talks about, the IFWAM, and so many other associations that are pro-organic, I think it's time to make a case for investment into organic agriculture. Be then let's have a conversation around policy. Let there be regulation and let there be a standard, because just like investing in the agribusiness value chain from production to the table, there are lots of opportunities in packaging, in distribution, and everything goes around food loss, food handling, and food processing and packaging. So for just like it was mentioned at the beginning of this program, you can't just say, oh, maybe I'm not a farmer and I want to go into agriculture. What can I do in this space? You can just be a marketer for organic products. You can be a processor for strictly organic products. You can be an expert in communication, just to keep spreading the conversation around organic products. And most importantly, we need to see ourselves driving investment into agriculture. Let's see startups getting funding for agriculture. And how can you get the funding you require? Because there's a lot of money running an agricultural farm, and that may be the next excuse. I don't have money to start doing organic business. I don't have money to start the process. But then, how are we even taking our organic business or idea as real business? Because the principles of attracting more funding to scale is the same principle for in a normal business, a normal commercial farm, or any other kind of enterprise. And that's something I encourage a lot of people. While you start your farm, while you have that idea into trying to go into organic, start from the first day to keep records, register the business, register with the right association, join groups that can give you relevant knowledge. Keep records, get your taxes up to date, keep your audited accounts, so that when finance is available, you will not be missing from the discussion, because that's what we see. Other businesses that are structured to operate as proper business attract the right financing that allows them to scale their business. So why not organic farmers? So why don't you operate your business as business, so that we can have a conversation on investing into organic agri businesses? That's what I would like to add.
Thank you so much. And I think you made a very valid point. Yeah. So we have Mrs. Showemimo, for instance, he has kept a niche into the production dimension. But what about even restaurants? Do we have restaurants that are dedicated, they are cooking food that is organic? How are they branding, or how are they advertising their services so that people who want to eat right, perhaps they are bachelors and they want to get something right, they can go there, you know. But I think if you can shed more light on this, Dara, about these opportunities, because I the report from the preamble states clearly that we have about 230 billion market as a 2021, and that market is going to increase to actually double by 2026. How do you see Nigerians, especially the young ones, positioning themselves in order to tap into this market?
Yeah, so I think there's beginning to be a growing awareness and a lot of sensitization around eating organic products. If I have any concern, it's actually driving the same message to the rural farmers, the rural communities where there's a lot of malnutrition and where it's all about the economics of farming, and it's more around calories than even nutrients in the food. So while we have an urban population that is getting educated around organic food, how about the rural population? And but that's a responsibility for all of us in the agricultural value chain, because we cannot leave that group of people and say, oh, let's just leave them to continue their lots of malnourished people in our communities because we only have an urban field that is concerned about health. And it goes back to what Ms. Shoemimo and Michael's point. This starts from the farm. And we, beyond having like urban farms like the one Mrs. Shoemimo operates, how about the rural farmer in Benue, in Kaduna, that is growing organically and not even eating organically? How do we get them to be conscious about eating organically for their health, and it becomes a lifestyle that is expanding, and then everybody becomes very conscious about eating organic products? So if you see in terms of market, it is wide because we're talking about over 200 million Nigerians, that we need to drive their consciousness to be conscious about their health and conscious about eating healthy. And if we do that, it's just a huge opportunity that we can take advantage of. And when we do this, especially when we begin to advocate for this, you realize that who says that we cannot have one of these multinationals make fruit juices from organic farms? Who says we cannot have manufacturing bakeries or restaurants cook only strictly food where they can trace from the farm and they know that it's organic? Well, it may look like a daunting task, but I believe that with the work that Ms. Olushola is doing, with the work Michael is doing, with the work so many interventions around providing good quality food, there is hope. There is hope. And I believe that by the time we do it, it will trickle down to the 200 million people, which is a huge market. And at the end of the day, we see livestock that is organically produced, and we see markets, organic markets, all the mile 12 markets converted to organic markets. I think that should be the future, and that should be our focus. And while there is this opportunity, don't sit down and say there's no opportunity or there's no market for organic. I myself am a pro. I've looked for. I live in Abuja. I wish I could find an organic market.
I'll
I
give
have
you.
looked for organic market. I don't get to see
I'll give
one. So, and this is Abuja. So, what about other cities in Nigeria that are also craving for organic market? So, there's just a lot of opportunities. There's actually no excuse for anyone to say they can't like take advantage of these opportunities. When you start operating as a good business, you will get the right opportunities to scale, and then everyone, the 200 million Nigerians, will begin to be conscious about the food they eat, and we'll see reduction in malnourishment, and we'll even see healthy rural population.
Thank you so much, Dara. And back to the technical team, is there any burning question online that you take? So that, yeah, Victoria Amadi say, good day. Thank you for the opportunity to listen to you all. Please, what can I do to make my soil healthy to avoid the use of fertilizer and insecticides and herbicide? I think this is going to Mrs. Shaw.
That is a master class she's asking for. It is not something that we can do in 2 minutes. But one of the things that we do not do is that we do not apply anything synthetic. And you will be amazed as to all the natural things that nature offers us. For instance, there is no waste on our farm. So first of all, everything, even the slashing, when they slash or cut a place or clear a place, all those things are going into the compost dump. And the compost will now become something that your soil will be the richer for. For instance, even worm casts, you know, these worms that wriggle around on the, if you don't have worms in a farm, there's a problem. So first of all, you go import earthworms into that particular place. And what they do is that they leave you these things we call the worm cast, because worms eat soil and they poo soil. But by the time they poo soil, there is already some nutrients in it that the soil needs. So we actually put everything we put back, everything. We own our own poultry. So for instance, every waste from the poultry goes back there. There is so much that nature offers that would make your soil so beautiful. We have people in our neighborhood who are no longer farming because the synthetic fertilizer, they cannot continue to buy it, and the soil is tired. So the more that you can do with nature, the more nature will reward you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question online? Teso Duke, organic farming is quite cool, but where I have a challenge is in the pricing. Do you think with the cost of producing organic products, there will be much profit from the sales generated? Profitability. Ms. Showomiwo, back to you again.
It is profitable. It is profitable, as Ms. Adekunle said. Every farmer has to start looking at agribusiness and not just putting seed in the soil. Many people do not do, for instance, we have a farm budget. The budget tells us the number of staff we can have, the number of inputs we can buy. It tells us the kind of output we're looking for when we, so there is so much that can be done if you are practicing agri-business. So we have crops that are low hanging for us. They really do not cost much because they will always be there. We have the ones that cost a lot more because of the intensity and the things that we apply. For instance, we use things like bone meal. I do not raise cows, so I have to go get the bone somewhere, process it into powder, and then use on some of the things I'm growing. So if that person will sit down either with a mentor or a professional, that person will see how it is possible. You see people all over Europe telling you they're making thousands of dollars from their allotment. They're all over YouTube and they're not lying. It's because they have mastered the art of agribusiness. So it is not the practice of whether you are doing organic or you're doing conventional. There are many market women who just sell. They don't even make profit. All they want to do is take home the little money and go and buy the exercise book the teacher said that the child should bring to school tomorrow. So, I mean, I went to Lagos State. Lagos State said all farmers should come and register. And because we sell out of Lagos and we have 2 shops, I went to register. Guess what? When they were asking the women how much they made in even a month, they didn't know. All they can calculate is the money they give the, what do they call these Esusu people? So that's, to them, that's the money they have. They have no calculation as to, okay, this is what I bought, this is what I sold, this is a profit. So I just encourage you to please go more into knowledge of agribusiness before you start going into agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution. And I think I will come back to Michael. And Michael, can you tell us how we can address this issue? Because in communities where we have malnourishment, you also have obesity. You also have micronutrient deficiency within the same population. And this is common in all populations, whether in the rich or poor nations. Even in Nigeria, where you have undernutrition, where you have malnutrition, you also have micronutrient deficiency, you have obesity. So what is really happening and how can this be tackled? In 2 minutes, and then we try and close this session.
All right. Thank you very much for the question. The issue that you just raised is a very, very serious issue. As a matter of fact, we've had or have seen parents who are overnourished and their children are undernourished. It's very, very common around us. We that we are into private practice. Okay. Now, the basic issue stems from education. It stems from cultural factors that is affecting us as a nation. Now, what do I mean? When it comes to education or knowledge about nutrition, many people feel that the older you get, the more you should eat. Then they don't really know how to share the household food sharing, household food formula. There's something they call household food formula, which are not in place in every home. Take, for example, I had a client that somebody somewhere has already told that she should abstain from the consumption of meat, totally meat. Now, this same person is avoiding poultry meat. The same person is avoiding red meat. And that same family, they have all their children to be girls. And these girls, they are now of childbearing age. They are now adolescents. They are now teenagers. That means they are menstruating. So in that particular household, all they eat is fish. And meat happens to be a good source of iron, which will be good for a menstruating female. So along the line, the girl started becoming anemic. And that became a concern for the family as well, until they got to meet me and I tried to review the eating pattern of that household. And I realized that, you know what, iron is missing in your diet. And they did the adjustments, and I let them realize that somehow, if you're eating meat, it's not a death sentence. I think that is the mindset of many Nigerians. Like, okay, if you want to eat meat, you're going to die tomorrow, or you're going to develop a chronic condition. Now, it depends on the kind of meat you're eating. It depends on the quantity of the meat you're eating. That has to come into play. All right? So we've had troubles of even people in what's it called, the rural areas. We've had cases of people that will go to the farm, hunters that will kill good meat, bush meat, that is very good for their health. And all they have to do is to take that meat to the roadside, raise it up, and sell it, just to go back to the market and go and buy things that are unhealthy for themselves. You understand? So the issue of obesity is on the rise, especially among the adult population, and of course it's increasing also in children right now. But that has to deal with knowledge about food in total. And also there is this physiological and the biochemical principles or factors that can also play a role, which I don't want to go into the technicalities, but I will leave it there. Information and the cultural thing. And we've also had some part of Nigerians whereby they feel that, oh, a particular, or women should be fatter, while the men should, be a bit slimmer. And when your wife is fatter, you're taking good care of the wife. Or even when even the husband and the wife is fatter, it shows that they are rich. It shows that they are financially capable. There's a lot of things in the Nigerian space that are not really right culturally, socially that is fueling this menace. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks to the panel. Thanks to Dara. Thanks to Ms. Showe Mimo and Dr. Michael for this session. At this point, this is where we draw the curtain and we'll end the session. Over to the technical team. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The Business of Agriculture Masterclass is back, and this time it's all about you. We understand how talk can look easy but become daunting with practice, and that is exactly our focus for this year. Agric in practice. 3 days, 9 sessions, 20 plus speakers, 8 value chains. Join Agric experts from September 27th to 29th, 2022, as they discuss the best practices for maximum results in your agric venture, answer critical questions about the specific challenges you face, and teach you how to tackle those challenges to achieve more profit for your business. What's more amazing? The masterclass is free and virtual, so you can join from wherever you are. All sessions will be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit www.businessofagriculture.org to register for the Business of Agriculture Masterclass today. This is brought to you by the Private Sector Advisory Group of the UN SDG.